In this video, we're going to talk about, is it safe to sleep with your food in your tent while you're backpacking? Now, there's two sides to this, of course. You have the people who think it's okay to do that. And then on the other side, you have the people who are adamant and religiously hang their food or use bear canisters or some form of way to store their food away from their tent. And so I'll first talk about what I personally, my opinion is on this matter. I feel that it is only safe if you keep your food away from your tent and do a bear hang or a bear canister, of course. Now, there's a lot of people out there. I shouldn't say a lot of people. There are some people out there, even professional backpackers, who promote and that it is okay, it is safe if you take a calculated risk and sleep with your food. And I have issue with that a little bit. If you choose to do that, that's your own business. Everybody has the freedom to backpack how they want to do it. Hike your own hike, as they say. But I think it's another thing if you start promoting these ideas of sleeping with your food, and it gets, puts people in a dangerous position, especially beginner backpackers. And the one thing that they use in their defense, these individuals who sleep with their food, is that they only do it where they know that there's not a lot of bear activity. Now, I'll use an personal example of why I don't think this is, the best excuse or the best reasoning. Because I went backpacking. I did a section hike on the Appalachian Trail at the Grayson Highlands section. And at that period of time, there was no bear activity, nothing. And my fault back then was I didn't do proper planning. And when I was on top of Mount Rogers, it's a very high mountain and there's not a lot of trees that are tall enough to hang your food from. And not knowing this, I didn't have any other means to store my food. So in that particular situation, I did sleep with my food in my tent because I had really no other choice. And I ended up being fine and didn't have any, didn't have a bad situation happen or anything. However, fast forward a year later, guess what happened in that area? Nobody was attacked or anything. However, they had a lot of bear activity, aggressive bear activity. They even had to close down that section of the Appalachian Trail for a period of time. So that excuse, well, I only do this when I know there's not a lot of bear activity. Well, there wasn't a history of bear activity, then all of a sudden there was. So it's like, how do you know if the area is, if there really is bear activity? The only way is, checking the news and, the forums and stuff like that. But what if you're right at the beginning of where there starts to be a migration of bears in that area and stuff, and then you're sleeping with your food? There could be a bad situation. So I don't necessarily agree with that reasoning. I think there's some problems with that. And I think the only way to really, truly be safe is to keep your food away from your tent. Now, there's a lot of people that say, well, hanging your food is not 100%, doesn't 100% keep your food safe. And that might be right. It might not be exactly 100%, but it's a lot better than literally sleeping with your food. And a lot of the issues that people have with hanging your food and bears getting a hold of it is usually when they just do a regular bear hang, where they just throwing their bear line over the branch and then attaching their food and then tying it off on that tree and stuff. Well, of course, bears are not stupid. They swipe right at that rope and their food drops and then they have a free meal. How about if you do the PCT style hang? They can swipe at that rope and it's not going to fall, and they're not smart enough to know to pull down the rope and everything and get the food that way. So I think if you make smart decisions and how you hang your food, even better yet, use a bear canister, you're going to be a lot safer than sleeping with your food. And then even if they do get your food, let's say they even figure out how to get your food no matter what you use, well, it's better for them to get the food away from your tent than having them attracted to where you're sleeping. It's just a recipe for disaster. And what if the bears have their cubs, that puts you in a bad situation. Mama bear's not going to be happy if you're trying to scare away them and the cubs are right there. So yeah, I am definitely in favor of keeping your food away from your tent, doing a proper bear hang, or using a bear canister. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but there's also a third device that you can use. It's called an Ursack, and that allows you to be able to store your food in another means and stuff. So if you have any questions about how to store your food, click on the link down below. I have a YouTube video where I show you how to do a proper bear hang using the PCT style method. I even have on my blog, I have an extensive article on that, intothebackcountryguides.com. So there you have it. I'm firmly a believer of not sleeping with your food in your tent. So see you guys on the next video.